Please welcome our next Commander-in-Chief, my husband, President Donald J. Trump.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life. And I had to start again with just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today.
It was the weekend that changed everything. From Joe Rogan on Friday to Madison Square Garden on Sunday, we have officially entered a new era, what many are calling a very real golden age, and there is absolutely no turning back. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your patron professor, here to help you stay sane in these insane times. So you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Also, gang, this is huge. You may have heard about the election bust in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, where they found 2,500 fraudulent voter registration forms. Well, the county commissioner who made that bust will be with us live tonight to answer your questions. Ray D'Agostino will be with us live tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern to give us the details and to answer your questions regarding election integrity in the key swing state of Pennsylvania. So you are not going to want to miss this. Pencil that in, 7 p.m. Eastern tonight, Monday, live with Ray D'Agostino on the latest in the ongoing election integrity efforts in Pennsylvania. That's going to be amazing. The New York Post is calling it Madison Square Garden. And that's exactly what New York transformed into last night. Only Donald Trump, no one else, only Trump could turn New York City into MAGA land. And that's exactly what he did. It all, of course, started on Friday with the interview of interviews, what some are calling the most consequential media moment of them all. Trump on Joe Rogan's show, the biggest podcast in the world, and they went on for 3 hours. I listened to the entire broadcast. It was amazing. It's a side of Trump you may not be familiar with, a very conversational side that showed his knowledge of history, of engineering, technology, real estate, business deals, environmental regulations, big pharma, geopolitics. It was frankly stunning, and it was a clear contrast to the sophomoric nonsense that consistently comes out of the mouth of Kamala Harris, who literally seems, she's just stuck in high school at this point. Now, just that event alone would have been enough to have been a total game changer. I want to give a shout out to Steve Deace. As I understand, Steve was a major never-Trumper for a number of years, a conservative never-Trumper who over the weekend watched Trump on Rogan. And he finally got it. It finally clicked. Quote, "This will be the most impactful political interview of my lifetime, including before and after. Attempts will be made to emulate it moving forward because it will be the model moving forward, just as the JFK-Nixon debate in 1960 was a generational harbinger." And he basically went on to point out that Trump on Rogan reached more people than and over the weekend alone, than all of the legacy media outlets combined. Let that hit you. Trump and Rogan together have more of an audience reach than every single legacy media outlet combined. And what did those tens of millions of people see? Did they see someone who's unstable? He's unstable, Brett. He is unstable. Did they see a racist? Did they see Hitler incarnate? No. They saw a former president who could sit down for 3 hours with the number one podcast personality in the world and talk about anything and everything with wit, humor, interest, and engagement. That's what they saw. And as a result, the interview did more to expose and unravel all of the lies and propaganda that have been pushed by the legacy media for 8 years than anything else ever could have. This is the moment, this past Friday, this is the very moment that may have officially ended the legacy media as the gatekeeper of political discourse forever. This is it. The era of independent media has finally arrived as of this weekend. And that's exactly what Elon is saying. Elon is arguing that citizen journalism is the future. The aggregate voice of the people gets to decide the narrative of what is newsworthy, not a handful of editors-in-chief. Journalism of the people, by the people, for the people. We, the people, get to decide what is news, not a bunch of bought and paid for shills for the establishment. The days of the corporatist legacy media lecturing the nation on what we should believe are over. That is what this weekend signaled. But it's what Elon said in Madison Square Garden that's even more astonishing than that. I'm sure you all saw CBS cut J.D. Vance's mic off as he tried to correct the moderators about immigration during the recent VP debate. Shutting his mic off is a clear example of mainstream media bias, which makes it hard for people to get the full picture and think for themselves. Manipulation like this is why I use Ground News. It helps me to see the whole picture so I can get to the truth. Ground News is a website and app that gathers stories from over 50,000 sources every day so you can get a complete view of what's happening in the world and see through media bias. Check them out for yourself at ground.news/Steve. For example, we could see here that there are well over 125 articles about CBS News cutting Vance's mic. Now, if we look at the coverage details and bias distribution, we could see which news outlets cover the story, along with a breakdown of the political leanings of the outlets reporting. The majority of the coverage comes from the center, with about an even split between the left and the right. And if we want to compare headlines to see what each side is saying, it's all right in front of us. So the left actually admitted Vance was explaining the legal process when they cut him, with his headline from Canada's CBC News, while the Washington Examiner, an outlet on the right, points out that CBS actually broke their own rules in fact-checking Vance. Now, how can we trust CBS News when they break their own rules? I have to tell you about my favorite feature. It's the blind spot feed. I use it so I'm getting a balanced view of the news. It features important stories covered by just one side of the political spectrum. With the election just a week away, I couldn't recommend Ground News more. Just go to ground.news/Steve, click the link in the description, or scan the QR code on the screen. Using my link gets you 40% off the Vantage plan, the same plan I use, for unlimited access to all their features. When you support Ground News, you're also supporting the work we do here at Turley Talks. As it turns out, the 3-hour Rogan episode was just the warm-up to the main event in Madison Square Garden, where tens of millions of viewers were treated to all the excitement and enthusiasm of what basically turned out to be another Republican National Convention just 1 week before the big day. The latest estimates are 30 million watched the event live cross-platform. Here's what Elon Musk just tweeted out. It was full to the rafters, every seat in the house, and there were over 70,000 people just standing in support in the streets around MSG. The movement is massive. You also notice there were no protests. That was very interesting. David Chapman noticed it. If Trump did this rally a few years back, the entire building would have been surrounded by protesters. But that didn't happen last night. The Trump hate is gone. And this is exactly what we've been arguing for, why Kamala's Trump is Hitler closing argument is just a complete and total bust. It's a complete and total bust because nobody buys it. Nobody outside of the frothing at the mouth leftist psychopaths at MSNBC and the borderline illiterates at The View. Nobody besides them actually believes that a man who's president already for 4 years and who served customers at a McDonald's drive-thru is Hitler incarnate. It's a rhetoric that has completely fallen flat. The rally was a star-studded affair with the likes of Hulk Hogan and Dr. Phil and Tucker Carlson, Elon Musk, comedian Tony Hinchcliffe. But of all the highlights, this to me was the most important of them all.
We're going to get the government off your back and out of your pocketbook. And America's just not just going to be great. America is going to reach heights that it has never seen before. The future is going to be amazing!
This will be America's new golden age. It's going to happen quickly, too, very quickly. Every problem facing us can be solved, but now the fate of our nation is in your hands.
So there you have it, those two major highlights. We will enter into our golden age, or, as Musk said, the future is going to be amazing. It's no coincidence that this weekend happened within the shadow of that epic and unprecedented booster landing from SpaceX. We truly are witnessing the awakening of a new era. We are seeing nothing less than a political realignment happening right in our very midst, where the people are rising up against a corrupt and incompetent elite to, in Trump's words, fix what they have broken. It's we, the people, together with the new tech right elite, who are together rising up against an outdated, decrepit, decaying managerial establishment class. And we are taking back our country. That is what this weekend solidified. That is the Rubicon that the events of this past weekend crossed. A new conservative era is indeed rising. And as Elon said, it's going to be amazing.